Welcome to Rewiring Health. If you're a high-achieving woman feeling trapped in the endless cycle of guilt and exhaustion from always putting others first, then this is your sanctuary. I'm Dr. Kelly Kessler, your dedicated empowerment mentor, and I'm here to tell you that it's time to reclaim your peace, health, and happiness. Imagine waking up every day feeling energized and unapologetically living for yourself. Together, we'll break down the walls that have been holding you back and unlock the vibrant, unstoppable force that you truly are. It's time to put yourself first, embrace your authentic self, and live a life that's not just endured, but celebrated. Now let's dive in. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned to listen to other people. You may have learned to keep yourself silent, make sure the peace is kept outside yourself, make sure you respect other people and not ruffle any feathers. Somewhere along the way, you may have learned it's safer just to stay small than to speak your truth. You may have learned along the way that others know better than you do. And so trust what other people say and doubt yourself when you do have that inkling of thinking differently. Somewhere along the way, you made others a priority and you left yourself behind. And it is only when you start to realize that this is happening that change can actually happen. The unfortunate thing is that this is not a big shift that happens one day. It's a slow erosion. It's like a drip on a rock. It's gradually, it just chips away little by little at your essence. And you don't even realize until you kind of hit that point of pain, so much pain that you're wondering where you are. Is there more to this? Or when is my chance to actually live the life that I want? And when do I get to do what feels right for me and not have the pressure and weight of making sure everybody else is okay? The slow erosion of ourselves can happen so subtly that it can take years where we feel like something is just off, but we can't really put our finger on it. We feel like we have that sense of emptiness, but yet we don't really know what's contributing to it. We don't know how to change that. And that slow erosion can happen so much that we end up disrespecting ourselves in ways we don't even realize that we are. And so in this episode, I want to share with you 5 signs that you are respecting yourself. And so you can use this as a way to bring more awareness to yourself. If you notice that you have all 5 happening in your life and that you are embracing all 5, that's amazing. And use this as a kudos to you, a pat on the back that you are doing something right. If you notice that some of these areas do not resonate with the way you're living, or some of these areas are areas for growth, then use this as a way to understand that there is room for you to embrace the essence of yourself, live differently, and there's opportunity to invite more respect for yourself and learn how to do that. So the 5 signs that you are respecting yourself is number 1, you set boundaries. Now, this is one of those terms that can feel so jarring and uncomfortable when we talk about boundaries, because if you're listening to this episode, it's likely that maybe you haven't had boundaries in much of your life and that you have said yes to people over and over again. You have prioritized others' needs more than your own, and you just keep on doing more and more and more for people. It may feel so uncomfortable to say no to people, to set those boundaries. But when you respect yourself, you have boundaries because you understand how important your energy is. You understand that your time is precious and that the energy and time that you have is not an endless source. It's a source that does become depleted. And if you get to the point where you don't have that energy up and you don't have the time, then you don't have the ability to live the life that you're dreaming of or that you desire. And so when you respect yourself, you understand boundaries are not a privilege, they are a necessity. You understand that boundaries allow you to have the healthiest relationships with the healthiest people. You understand that when you have boundaries, you are setting the rules for which you live your life. You're inviting people in to come join your life in a respectful way and telling the people who are not willing to abide by that, that there is a set standard for how you live your life. You get to choose how you spend your time and your energy and who gets to be alongside with you in that journey. Number two, you keep promises to yourself. This is such a huge part to respecting yourself. That when you say, I am going to take 5 minutes in the morning to go for a walk and get outside, that you do it. You make yourself a non-negotiable. When you say, I'm going to read that book, you actually do it and you hold your word to yourself. When you lay out the priorities in your life and you say this is how you're going to choose to invest your energy, you do it by the way that you say you're going to. You don't allow others to make that decision for you. And you live by your word because you understand how important your word is. Without the integrity and holding your word, you know that self-trust is out the door. And so you know how important, no matter how small that word is, whether it's you're going to have a glass of water right now. When you say it, you do it because you know that's how you build that self-trust within yourself. Number three, you speak kindly to yourself. Now, this can be one that is always evolving and never 100%. We all have that inner dialogue, and the words that we say to ourselves can be really harsh sometimes. And maybe your mind is going all the time, thinking of all the things that are going wrong inside and outside. And that is part of that survival mechanism of our mind. But recognizing that and making small changes and shifts to change the dialogue in which you speak to yourself is where that growth and self-respect comes from. It's recognizing the patterns that you have, knowing that they are not your truth, and that the real truth is love and respect for yourself. That's where your power is. That's the alignment of your soul to fully and unconditionally love yourself. And when you can recognize that and you start to shift your dialogue and the way you're speaking to yourself, that's when you're truly showing yourself respect. Number four, you prioritize your well-being. Now, it's so hard sometimes when we have so much going on. I'm a mom of two young boys. I'm running a business. I have worked where I was working two jobs at a time and trying to grow this in the beginning. And it's crazy. It's so much to take on, plus all the other roles that you're playing. It can be a lot and it can be very overwhelming. And in that, we can very much kind of put our own well-being aside, making sure that everybody else is okay. And we notice that maybe weeks go by and we haven't really done anything for ourselves. Maybe we haven't taken a moment of quiet time, or we haven't gone for a walk, or maybe we haven't gone to the gym. You can easily watch that time go. But when you respect yourself, you understand that you are a priority and that you can only show up fully for your children, for your spouse, for everything that you're doing, all the people you're serving, if you are prioritizing your well-being. That means getting enough sleep. That means having some quiet time. That means maybe going for a walk, getting outside, taking a few deep breaths. Whatever that looks like for you, you recognize that your well-being is worth it because you can only help others and be there for the ones that you love when you are full and you are self-respecting. Number five, you walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Now, this can be a really, really complex one and a really tough one because it's hard to let relationships go. It really is. And I talked about this in one of my recent reels that I did, that sometimes we hold on to things because of the fantasy of it, that we are waiting for that person to say the right thing, or we think they'll, if I explain it five more times, they'll finally understand and then it'll be the relationship that I want. We hope that somebody will give us the accountability or the apology that we want, and we hold out for that. But sometimes that doesn't happen. And sometimes we hold on to relationships because we think of the fantasy of it, that it will be all that we want it to be. But the reality of it is that sometimes it just isn't. And we have to make decisions based off of reality, not fantasy. And sometimes we have to let people go. And it doesn't mean it has to be forever. Sometimes it can be temporary. It just depends on the situation. But you have to understand that if you are in a relationship that you find draining, that you find depleting, that you find that you are keeping yourself small or silent, or you're disrespecting yourself just to keep the peace in that relationship, then that's a time to start looking into it and seeing and asking yourself, does this serve me? And when you respect yourself, you recognize that sometimes you have to let others go so that you don't lose yourself in the process. When you respect yourself, your priority is your peace, not the peace of everybody else. And you recognize that you're responsible for your own emotions, you're responsible for your happiness, your own peace, and that you don't have to bear the weight of everybody else. And that is a really tough one, but it is a huge sign that you are respecting yourself when you take your energy back and you live within your own power. And so the 5 signs that you are respecting yourself is that you set boundaries. You keep the promises that you make to yourself. You speak kindly to yourself. You prioritize your own well-being, and you walk away from situations or relationships that no longer serve you. Now, I want you to listen to those and really think about your own life. Where do you notice that in your life? Are you respecting yourself in some ways and maybe not in others? And when you listen to that, the one thing I do not want you to do is come down on yourself if you are not doing one of these. This is all about giving yourself grace, compassion, and recognizing with truth the full awareness of what your situation is. Because it's only when we are truthful to ourselves about what is actually happening, that's when we give ourselves space for change and growth and evolution. And so I hope this serves you well in understanding areas that maybe you are respecting yourself, maybe areas that you're not, and so that you can really start to move in the direction of self-respect and know that you are worth it and you are worth prioritizing yourself. If you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who also needs to hear it. These messages cannot be shared enough. I can't tell you how many times in my own journey when I was battling between that like self-neglect and self-respect and wondering, am I allowed to even prioritize myself? Like almost wanting someone to give me permission. But it was through listening to so many others that have been through some challenges and have learned to make themselves a priority and live through peace that it gave me the permission to do it myself. And so if you found any ounce of permission to take care of yourself in this, I want you to share this with a friend and allow these messages to grow, because it's only through our own self-respect that we can live the life we're meant to live, and you are worth it. Thanks for being here today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If there was something in this episode that really resonated with you or a message that stuck with you, please share it with someone else. It's only through sharing these messages that we can start to rewire our minds to feel empowered and live the life that we truly desire. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to Rewiring Health.